So Tank, I don't need Tank, bro.
He gonna pay for it.
That didn't come from fighting big names. That just came from me performing and people just liking what I come with. I would love.
Davis didn't hesitate to criticize Keyshawn Davis after being knocked out by Shakur Stevenson. During a sparring session, Tank quickly took to social media, mocking Keyshawn with a smug live video, claiming that Keyshawn was never the better fighter among top boxers and calling him a beginner with unrealistic dreams.
And we got Tank. So if it's not Tank, it's not Shakur. You want Loma? Top rank?
If light skin don't want to step up to fight me, then I would love to fight Lomachenko, honestly. He with top rank.
Keyshawn has always acknowledged Shakur for being there during his toughest times. Their friendship dates back to when Keyshawn was just 14 years old. Shakur was not only a fellow boxer, but also a lifeline when Keyshawn was battling mental health issues. At 18, Keyshawn was in a mental health facility fighting depression, and Shakur consistently checked in on him. He was there when no one else was, Keyshawn told TalkSport. I was telling him what I was thinking, what I was doing. He was calling me up, checking on me. This bond seemed unbreakable, making any potential fight between the two feel almost impossible to imagine.
This Keyshawn, this new guy, he's 140 pounds. He's not bad.
Yeah,
Keyshawn.
As of now, Keyshawn is set to step into the ring on February 14th at Madison Square Garden Theater to face WBO lightweight champion Dennis Baroni. This fight is seen as a pivotal moment for Keyshawn, with a win potentially boosting him into serious title contention and opening the door for bigger opportunities. However, the shadow of Shakur Stevenson looms large, complicating matters. Shakur, already the WBC lightweight champion, holds the kind of status Keyshawn aspires to, yet they're shared. History stands as a significant obstacle.
To him. Who that? The Keyshawn. Keyshawn looking way more better than this nigga. So I keep screaming this nigga name, he haven't done nothing. Keyshawn haven't even done nothing.
Keyshawn has repeatedly stated in the past that he couldn't fight Shakur because of their close bond. I know his entire family, his mom, his brothers, his cousins. It would be too weird. Keyshawn explained, my family would be devastated if we fought for years. These words reinforce the belief that a match between them was off the table. However, something recently shifted during an interview with Fight Hub TV. Keyshawn hinted at a change when asked how much money it would take to get him in the ring with Shakur. He initially joked, asking for $500 million, but after some back and forth, he lowered the figure to $100 million. I think everybody will be happy with $100 million, he said with a laugh. While he wasn't directly committing to the fight, it was clear he was now entertaining the idea in a way he hadn't before.
Hey Shakur, like I was telling Bud, it's either you or Keyshawn's gonna get tanked, so the walls are closing in, so awesome.
It's gonna be him though.
It makes sense, he's closer.
Big brother learn.
Absolutely.
Despite these hints, Keyshawn is still quick to pull back when the topic becomes serious. In an interview with Mill City Boxing, he outlined his future plans, making it clear he was open to unifying titles with fighters like Devin Davis and Vassell. Lomachenko after facing Baroni, Tank, a champion, Baroni, a champion, Lomachenko, a champion. There are fights out there, Keyshawn said. I would want to unify with any of the champions after Baroni. However, it was his one line, other than Stevenson, that kept the door firmly closed on a potential fight with Shakur, despite his earlier teasing comments.
He's going to be a great fighter.
He's calling for Tank. Now,
he beats Tank.
Yeah, you think so?
Keyshawn Davis beats Tank, in my opinion. I believe he's given him a good up.
This back and forth didn't sit well with Tank, who thrives on psychological warfare, and Keyshawn's hesitancy gave him all the ammunition he needed. After Keyshawn was knocked out by Shakur Stevenson, Tank made sure the world knew exactly how he felt. His social media post mocking Keyshawn wasn't just about the knockout, it was about control. By saying that Keyshawn wouldn't dare step into the ring with Shakur, Tank was effectively painting Keyshawn as both scared and outmatched. Tank's comments hit hard because they were backed by his reputation as one of the best. In the lightweight division, his words carry weight.
So what? What was his point of even doing that? Like, what was he trying to get with it? That I'm trying to ride his coattail? Like, bro, I don't need you. I don't have to fight you. I'm making real. I don't need you, bro. I don't need you, bro. I do not need you, bro.
Tank isn't just trash talking for the sake of it. He's asserting his dominance over anyone who might challenge his status. With Keysson still finding his footing, Tank's taunts cut even deeper. The aftermath of Keyson's knockout loss only fueled the fire. Social media exploded with memes and videos mocking the defeat, many of them inspired by Tank's shade. Even casual boxing fans couldn't resist getting caught up in the drama. Keysson found himself in an uncomfortable position no longer just the rising prospect with potential. Now, he was the fighter who got knocked out by Shakur and clowned by Tank.
To fight me after what I just did tonight against a guy that's bigger than him. Come on now, if I touch him, what's gonna happen? Talk about that. Everybody want to talk about oh Keyshawn. What if he touch you? What if I touch him? Yeah, okay.
Still, Keysson remains focused on his path, determined to come out strong against Baroni and prove he belongs among the elite in the lightweight division. But the pressure is undeniable. Every move he makes will be scrutinized, especially with Tank and Shakur looming over the division. Keysson's past comments and current actions have painted him as a fighter with something to prove, not just in the ring, but in his mental toughness as well. Meanwhile, Tank isn't letting up. His confidence is sky high, and he's not afraid to remind the world of his dominance at every opportunity, whether through his fights or mind games. Tank stays at the center of the conversation. With the lightweight division more competitive than ever, that psychological edge could make all the difference.
Keyshawn the one that can crack their Gervonta code?
Gervonta can be beat easily, man.
Ooh.
Yeah, we hear you say he could be beat easily. Why?
Yeah,
The drama between Tank, Keysson, and Shakur is far from over. The storylines in the lightweight division continue to evolve, and fans are eager to see what happens next. Will Keysson bounce back and rise to the challenge? Will Shakur and Keysson's friendship ever allow for a true showdown? Keysson Davis is stepping into the spotlight with his upcoming February 14th showdown against Dennis Baroni at Madison Square Garden. The fight, which will be broadcast live on ESPN and ESPN Plus, is not just another bout for the rising star, it's a pivotal moment that could put him on a collision course with Tank Davis. For months, Keysson has called out Tank, hoping to stir enough attention to force the fight. Yet, despite the repeated challenges, Tank has remained frustratingly silent.
I mean, the fans want him to fight me after what I just did tonight against a guy that's bigger than him. Come on now, if I touch him, what's gonna happen? Talk about that. Everybody want to talk about oh Keyshawn. What if he touch you? What if I touch him? Yeah, okay.
Keysson, an Olympic silver medalist from 2021, has rapidly ascended the ranks with an impressive record of 120-8, including knockouts. He's on the verge of securing his first major world title in just his 13th professional fight. Winning this weekend would solidify him as a legitimate contender alongside the biggest names in the lightweight division, including Vasyl Lomachenko, Shakur Stevenson, and, of course, Tank Davis. While matchups with any of these fighters would be thrilling, a potential showdown between Keysson and Tank promises to be an especially explosive rivalry if it ever comes to fruition.
Because what happened when Shakur do it, when somebody chasing him around, it's boring. What's next for Tank? If anything, it's going to be Keyshawn. Out of them two, Keyshawn is more entertaining. Keyshawn going to stand there and throw the punches. You can look.
Keysson has made no secret of his desire to take on Tank. He's been vocal in interviews, repeatedly stating that he feels ready for the challenge and believes he has the skills to dethrone Tank. However, his confidence seems to be matched only by his growing impatience. In a recent interview with Fight Hub TV, Keysson voiced his frustration, saying, "I just think he doesn't have the balls to fight me." Those words alone were enough to set social media ablaze, with fans debating whether Tank was ducking the young contender or simply biding his time. Keysson's frustration isn't just about being ignored, it's about missed opportunities. He likened his situation to that of Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez, where one fighter is chasing a potential blockbuster matchup while the other remains indifferent.
You and Tank, if that were to happen, no, you sparred with him, correct?
Yeah.
So you and Tank, if that were to happen.
I feel like me and Tank fight how it would go would be like electrifying. Like me and him are both mean, aggressive, bully. We bullies in the ring, you know, like.
Keysson has made it clear that he won't beg for a fight. "I'm just waiting for him to send me a contract, bro," he stated. With a simple message, he's ready whenever Tank is. For Keysson, the fight should be easy to make. He acknowledges that Tank would be the aside, meaning Tank would get the lion's share of the purse and have the upper hand in dictating most of the fight terms. Yet, despite these concessions, Tank is yet to show any real interest. Keyshawn remains hopeful that a strong performance against Baroni will leave Tank with no choice but to acknowledge him. Meanwhile, Tank has his own plans as he's scheduled to face WBA featherweight champion Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st in Brooklyn.
Is Keyshawn ready based on this performance to take on Tank Davis, and how does that fight play out?
I feel like Keyshawn is ready to take on a guy like Tank. I think that Keyshawn is one of the most skillful fighters in the
The fight between Keyshawn and Tank has been generating buzz, but Tank's silence regarding the young contender has led many to wonder if he sees Keyshawn as a legitimate threat or simply not worth his time. Tank has a reputation for being selective about his opponents, choosing fights that maximize both his payday and his chances to stay undefeated. Keyshawn, however, seems undeterred by Tank's reputation or his knockout power. His focus remains on building his legacy, even if it means carving his own path without Tank's cooperation. Yet, he's made it clear that he doesn't want to waste time on fights that don't advance his career. Recently, he dismissed the idea of facing Andy Cruz, the 2020 Olympic gold medalist who defeated Keyshawn 4 times as an amateur. "He's not worth my time," Keyshawn declared when asked why he wouldn't pursue a pro fight with Cruz. This stance hasn't gone unnoticed, and critics have questioned whether Keyshawn's reluctance to face Cruz stems from fear of a 5th loss.
Seeing like you bring Andy Cruz's name up, he get a little shake.
No, he get upset. He get upset because Andy using his name. Don't nobody know. No. Tell me right now 3 things.
Another defeat to Cruz could derail Keyshawn's trajectory just as he's beginning to land major paydays. With Top Rank, Cruz, on the other hand, has been making waves in his first 5 professional fights. Drawing comparisons to Keyshawn in terms of talent and potential, many boxing analysts believe Cruz is the more polished fighter, but he hasn't received the same level of promotional support from Matchroom as Keyshawn has from Top Rank. Top Rank's heavy investment in Keyshawn isn't just about his talent, it's about filling a void with Shakur Stevenson no longer under their banner. The promotion is banking on Keyshawn to be their next breakout star. Whether his rise is organic or manufactured, Keyshawn is clearly being positioned as the future of the lightweight division, and he knows it. His confidence in interviews is as much about self-belief as it is about playing the part of a future champion.
You are good. You are real good. But there's levels to this game, Keyshawn.
Okay, we gonna talk about levels. Okay, just know it's levels, it's certain levels.
Despite the promotional push, Keyshawn is still hungry for respect. He's not content with simply being mentioned in the same breath as Tank, Shakur, and Lomachenko. He wants to prove he belongs by beating them. His fight against Baroni is the first step in that journey, and all eyes will be on him to see how he performs under the bright lights of Madison Square Garden. For now, the rivalry between Keyshawn and Tank remains a war of words and unfulfilled promises. But boxing fans know that these storylines often build to a boiling point. If Keyshawn secures a decisive victory this weekend and Tank defeats Roach in March, the pressure for the two to face off will only intensify, whether it happens next year or the year after. One thing is clear, Keyshawn Davis is determined to get his shot at Tank, and when that day comes, it could be the fight that defines the next era of the lightweight division.
Yo, but what about Keyshawn saying that the Tank is target practice? You heard that audio?
I like how Keyshawn, he's clout chasing. Bring up Tank's name, sell your fight, get the most.
Davis is a fighter who isn't shy about making bold claims. Ahead of his February 14th bout, Keyshawn has declared his intention to knock Baroni out in the very first round. For Keyshawn, this isn't just about winning, it's about making a statement to the entire boxing world, particularly to Tank Davis, whom he has openly challenged for a unification fight. The 120-8 fighter, nicknamed the Businessman, has been vocal about his desire to face Tank next should he emerge victorious on Friday night. However, he's also expressed doubts about whether Tank has the courage to take him on.
I would prefer Tank Davis, the top guy. I would go for the top guy. If I could choose, I would choose Tank Davis. I would not Tank short out. Tank is a great fighter. Hats off to Tank. I'm not even about to just do all that. Like, Tank is a great fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows that he got the power, he got the skill and ability. He's patient. You know what I'm saying? But I know who I am.
Keyshawn's confidence is undeniable, but some might argue that his approach borders on arrogance. His prediction of a first-round knockout against Baroni, a seasoned and respected fighter, has drawn criticism, with many labeling it as over the top. Keyshawn is no stranger to such scrutiny. Throughout his career, He has positioned himself as a rising star, someone who believes his charisma and talent make him an undeniable force in the lightweight division. Yet, as of now, his claims of being a star in the sport remain unproven, with his popularity primarily concentrated within his hometown of Norfolk, Virginia.
You got a chance to work with Gervonta out here in Phoenix. What was that experience like? Anything you could share?
The experience was great, and what's crazy about that is this time around, it was like, all right, we older now. There's more skills involved. It's like, all right, now let's see how it's going to go this time. And
what's striking is the way Keyshawn talks about his potential match with Tank Davis in his eyes. The fight is an inevitability, a collision of two big personalities that would generate massive buzz. In the boxing world, he even went as far as to say that promoting such a fight would be easy because it practically markets itself. Davis versus Davis, to undefeated fighters with contrasting styles and attitudes. Keyshawn believes this fight would not only showcase his skills, but also elevate his status to the level of Tank, who is widely regarded as one of boxing's biggest stars.
Tank said he's now the new face of boxing. What do you think?
For sure, he's the face of boxing. I don't have no problem with saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he deserves everything that's coming to him. He's the face of boxing for sure.
And he's that guy. You talked about how good Shakur is. Do you think people sleep on Tank's skills? Because they just see him as a knockout artist?
Who sleep on Tank's skills? Nah, nobody sleep on Tank.
However, the reality might not be as straightforward as Keyshawn imagines. Tank Davis, with a record of 30-0 and a reputation as a devastating puncher, has little incentive to entertain a fight with Keyshawn at this point. Tank has plenty of established contenders vying for a shot, many of whom would bring far more credibility and financial upside to the table than Keyshawn. It's no secret that Tank's name carries significant weight in the sport, and any fight involving him is bound to draw massive attention. Keyshawn, on the other hand, is still in the process of proving himself at the elite level, making his callouts feel premature to some. Despite this, Keyshawn remains relentless. He has gone out of his way to antagonize Tank, even questioning his masculinity and character. Keyshawn's description of Tank as having a feminine way and his assertion that Tank lacks the balls to face him are clearly intended to provoke a response. Whether this strategy will pay off remains to be seen, but it's clear that Keyshawn is determined to get under Tank's skin. His comments reveal a fighter who not only craves the spotlight, but also thrives on stirring up drama to keep his name in the headlines. Interestingly, Keyshawn's ambitions don't end with Tank. Should the unification fight not materialize, he has already set his sights on Isaac Pitbull Cruz, a former WBA lightweight title challenger known for his aggressive style. Keyshawn sees a fight with Pitbull as another opportunity to make a statement, one that would appeal to fans and generate significant financial rewards for both fighters. In his typical fashion, Keyshawn has framed this potential matchup as a clash of cultures, to stars representing different fan bases coming together in a high-stakes showdown.
You said when you get in there, you can feel a person's energy. We've had plenty of trainers tell us that Tank is a great boxer, not just this puncher that we see. He just hasn't, quote unquote, had to show it. I feel like you've seen some of that in the Isaac Cruz fight, especially with the one hand. He had to show.
However, not everyone is convinced by Keyshawn's bravado. Critics argue that he's been carefully managed by his promoter, Top Rank, who have ensured he avoids risky fights that could derail his career. One glaring example is his refusal to fight Andy Cruz, the 2020 Olympic gold medalist who defeated Keyshawn 4 times in the amateur ranks. Keyshawn has dismissed Cruz as irrelevant, claiming he lacks a fan base and isn't on his level. Yet, many see this as an attempt to dodge a fight that could expose his vulnerabilities. Cruz, who has looked impressive in his early professional outings, poses a legitimate threat. Keyshawn's unwillingness to face him has led to accusations of fear and opportunism.
Tank's skill is phenomenal, but I just feel like he's offense first. I feel like he's offense first, or I feel like Tank is the type of fighter where he'll either be offensive first, but he's very, 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 very patient, and then just try to catch you slipping. You know what I'm saying?
Critics have also pointed to Keyshawn's performances against lesser opponents, which they argue haven't lived up to the hype. Fights against Miguel Madueno and Nahir Albright, for example, have been cited as evidence that Keyshawn still has much to prove before he can legitimately claim to be on the same level as fighters like Tank Davis. While his talent is undeniable, his tendency to talk big without backing it up in the ring has made him a polarizing figure in the sport. In many ways, Keyshawn's approach mirrors that of Edgar Berlanga, another fighter who was heavily promoted by Top Rank before eventually parting ways with the company. Berlanga was built as a knockout artist early in his career, but as the level of competition increased, his flaws became more apparent. Similarly, Keyshawn's loud proclamations and selective matchmaking have led some to view him as a manufactured star rather than a genuine contender. Keyshawn's obsession with Tank Davis seems to be driven by more than just professional ambition. His comments suggest a personal dislike for Tank, whom he accuses of being unpredictable and insincere. At the same time, Keyshawn is quick to emphasize that he doesn't need Tank to define his career. He insists that he is carving out his own path of building his own brand, regardless of whether the fight with Tank ever happens. Yet, his constant references to Tank tell a different story, one of a fighter who knows that a win over someone of Tank's stature could change his life forever. For now, Keyshawn's focus is on Baroni, but his mind is clearly already on what comes next, whether it's Tank, Pitbull Cruz, or another high-profile opponent. Keyshawn seems intent on positioning himself as a major player in the lightweight division. However, the question remains, can he back up his words with actions? His performance on February 14th will undoubtedly provide some answers, but until then, his bold claims will continue to divide opinions among fans. Well, what do you think? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.